Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this, and this is my review video of Dead Space 3. Of course, my written review is in the link in the description, along with a lot of other things. So if you want to see what I gave it out of 10, because arbitrary scores are the most important thing in a video game review, please click there. But before we get into Dead Space, if you want the chance to win one of these babies, that's right, Mass Effect Trilogy on PlayStation 3, PC and Xbox, then link in the description to the always wonderful OzGameShop Giveaway. Again, Mass Effect 3 Trilogy, great series. I put my Commander Shepard poster back down there because I love Commander Shepard, he's awesome. I've just got this in the mail, Crisis 3, which I'm playing at the moment. Not allowed to talk about that one yet, but I'll definitely be reviewing that in the future. And that's giving me a good chance to give these a go, which of course my review unit for the Turtle Beach PX5s that I get to keep, which is pretty awesome. So that's about it. Now on to the wonderful game that is Dead Space 3. I must admit, I've never been that much of a Dead Space fan. I didn't like it. To be honest, I just found it too hard. I found the gameplay a little bit too annoying, too clunky in a way. But Dead Space 3 it's definitely changed that. It's a lot more gameplay focused. The story's still there, but it's not as good. And it just seems like a lot of people have been saying forced. It's not forced, it's just cheesy. It's like you're all of a sudden you're thrown into a love triangle, and then the guy that pretty much begged you to come and help hates you now, and all this shit. And there's all these characters that no one cares about. So it's a little bit confusing as well. You go from place to place to place, but you know, overall it does what it's supposed to do, and it continues the game through all the different chapters. It's a pretty long game for that as well, but definitely gameplay seems to be the biggest innovation here. The crafting system is definitely the big thing. I'm looking on the screen at my notes because that's what professionals do. Not all of us can afford fancy editing. But I forgot what I was going to say. You can create weapons now, which is awesome. It gives the game a huge sense of replayability, if anything, because you have to go back and get all the shit that you missed. And I spent the better part of 6 fucking hours doing that the other night to get all the achievements, because I'm an achievement whore. But it's definitely fun. You collect parts, you can buy parts, you can build parts, all of which you get scrap metal and tungsten and like, what's the word I'm looking? There's a word for it. Shit. What's the word? Resources to build things. It's great. It adds a lot of customization and that to the game because you can like put your personal touch on weapons. But the problem is that you pretty much have to do it, and the UI, the user interface for the weapon crafting system, is a confusing mess. I call it an interactive labyrinth because I'm good with words. But it's ridiculous. Once you get it, it's good. But it's slow, it's clunky, it's confusing, there's menus everywhere, there's a tutorial that doesn't really help, and if you don't know how to use that, you're boned, because if you don't create weapons, you are going to get fucked so hard later on in the game when it gets a little bit more difficult. The game in and of itself is actually pretty easy compared to Dead Space 2, which I've played. I played through on normal, and I really only died a few times, and that was because it's like an instant death kind of thing. The game is not hard, so I'd recommend playing on a harder difficulty if you're a big Dead Space fan, which you should be doing anyway. But the only times, like, you kind of feel overwhelmed. So like all these enemies will be coming at you and they get you in a corner, and you might die because of that, or you might die because the game's been a bitch. And with the resources, it's not so resource managey. It's kind of like just knowing when to use it. Because there's health packs everywhere, there's ammo everywhere. Again, this is in normal mode. There is old school mode where you can't pick things up, or there's no things to pick up, you actually have to craft them. So that's pretty neat for those enthusiasts. Like, it's definitely been toned down a little bit and made a little bit more accessible, but it's still accessible to hardcore people as well. The only bad thing really is the story and there's not enough, it's hard to explain, but the gameplay is like, go here, pick something up, come back. Like, that's everything in this game. Go here, pick something up, come back. And there's a lot of backtracking, and there's a lot of this, and the autosave is fucking garbage. If you die, you're fine, but if you're like, I've picked up this weapon part, I've done a little bit of this quest, I'm going to go to save and exit, and I'm going to come back later on tonight and finish the mission. No, you're not. You are going right back to the start of the chapter. And in that you can lose a lot of goddamn time, because it happened to me a few times. The autosave sucks. Don't like it. Like, the big thing in Dead Space 2 is the atmosphere. They've definitely captured the atmosphere. It seems a little bit toned down. Like, it's not eerie, it's creepy, but it's, oh, when's the next jump scare gonna happen? Whereas, like, with really scary games like Amnesia and stuff like that, they create such a suspense in the world that something's gonna happen, and it's the fear of something happening, not the fear of something happening. That doesn't make sense, but if you know what I'm talking about, then it does, obviously. You can play the whole game in co-op as well, which I wouldn't recommend, because it takes that element away from the game and then it just becomes a generic third-person shooter. There is co-op only missions, which I hate, but it kind of makes sense that the way they've done it, but it just seems forced. Like a lot of the single-player game feels like, oh, this is where my co-op buddy would go. You know, it kind of like, oh, we built this for co-op and you can play single-player if you want. But the co-op missions are pretty fun. You can play as a different character who's still being affected by the markers, so what he'll see on one screen is different to what Isaac or the first player will see. It's pretty neat, it's pretty cool, and I had a lot of fun with Dead Space 3. So it is an awesome game, I had a lot of fun with it. It looks great, sounds great, the sound is awesome, it looks amazing for late in this console generation. Comes on 2 discs on Xbox, which is a pain in the ass, which is weird because Crysis 3 didn't come on 2 discs. But that's about it really, unless there's something else that I can read. But if you want like a more in-depth review, then obviously I wrote one, so go and check out that and see what I gave it out of 10. So tell me what you think of Crysis 3 if you played it. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out, rate, comment, and subscribe. Au revoir.